the most saves with 295. And no one in the 90s had more steals than Otis Nixon with 478. Almost all of these men stood above the rest in one special category in the 90s. Except, that is, for being the very best at their position. That's our Prime 9. What's yours?
Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined in the studio today by Shaki Hislop and Stevie Nicol. Today in England was all about the Community Shield. Liverpool taking on Manchester City, and what a brilliant match this turned out to be. It would be Liverpool had opened the scoring early. Trent Alexander with the effort that was deflected off Ake into the back of the net. Liverpool then in the ascendancy for a while until Manchester City got themselves together, and they would eventually get the equaliser through new signing Alvarez in the second half. However, Salah would convert a penalty that was won after Darwin Núñez's header was handballed by Ruben Diaz, and then later on Núñez with the goal to give Liverpool a 3-1 win. Well, for more on this, outside of the King Power Stadium now, Don Hutchinson and Nader Manua are with us. Don, just overall, this was a brilliant match, wasn't it?
It really was, Dan. The tempo, the speed, I think the closing down from Liverpool was super impressive. You could see what Man City were trying to do. They're trying to play through the thirds. Pep wasn't happy. He was screaming at the back line to try and play balls forward a lot quicker. But it was one of them games, Dan. The Community Shield is a great game to play. And I mean, I've been on the end of a 4-3 loss when Eric Cantona scored 3 against Leeds, and it hurt because you want to try and take good form and positive form into the starting game in the Premier League in a week's time. So for Liverpool, it put down a real marker. And Núñez getting off the mark, he was right by us in the corner flag, and the fans took to him straight away. He had 1 or 2 chances, but great day for Liverpool fans.
Speaking of Liverpool fans, one of them, very close to me, has spent the week telling us it's just a glorified pre-season friendly, doesn't really matter. I tell you what, when Darwin Núñez scored, Shaka, how was his reaction?
It was very animated, is about as nicely as I can put it.
I know, very, very not Disney friendly.
But this didn't... At no stage did this feel like a Community Shield final. And as Don's telling you, he's played in one, I've played in one. And it felt like it, I remember. Right. It didn't feel like a proper game. Okay. It didn't feel like a normal game. And this did not feel like a Community Shield game. This felt like a proper game. This felt as though both sides felt there was something in this. And they had, not something to prove, but they didn't want to lose. And I think by the end of the game, we saw that Liverpool, more than City, wanted it.
Right.
Because they looked hungrier. Certainly going forward as an attacking force, Liverpool were far superior than Manchester City were going forward, although City had more of the ball. Liverpool just had a bit of an edge to them, as if they were saying, right, we want to lay down a marker.
And in particular, obviously, Darwin Núñez impressed you when he came on.
Well, he came on for half an hour, and in that half an hour, he completely changed the game for Liverpool. You know, up until Liverpool scored, Liverpool were by far the better side, and then it sort of kick-started City.
Yep.
And until they equalised, actually, they were the better side, and then it went back again to Liverpool. But a big part of that was Núñez, not just the fact that he scored the goal, but he was a complete and utter threat for every single reason you want your centre forward to be. He was running in behind. He was physically fighting with his defenders. I mean, every single thing he did with, there was a purpose to it. And of course, when he scored his goal, you see how passionate he was. And it actually just, it clung to everybody else, the Liverpool fans, his teammates. I mean, it almost felt like a final he'd scored in, not the Community Shield that we all, particularly me, poo-pooed during the week.
Nadim, do you agree about Núñez's impact?
Yeah, I do. And interestingly, it's so different to the way Firmino was, because Firmino's coming short, he's linking the play very well, whereas for Núñez, as we were listening to there, like, he's stretching the line, he's getting behind, he's pushing people about, and he had a real good goal threat, rather. Like, he scored that goal, he had the one-on-one, which, you know, Don would say that he should have done better with. You think he should have probably dinked it, but he made an instant impact, and when he's out there and he scored that goal, the passion in that corner, like, you know, I was trying to hide as a City guy in that Liverpool section, but they were going nuts. You know, you could see how much that meant to him. The fans were on board with it, and that's another side of the recruitment, isn't it? You know, you've got the stuff on the field. You know, are you a good player, but are you passionate?
Even the bench, Jordan Henderson ran straight past us.
Everybody ran down. Like, you know, people are buying into him. And I think that's what you need, because that means there's going to be a level of excitement going into this season, because, you know, you've lost Mane, but you've brought somebody in who you believe you can get behind. So it's good to see him get an opportunity. But, you know, Don said it earlier on in the day, he still doesn't think he starts in that first game of the season, because he thinks that's going to be Firmino's spot.
That's